I want to quickly wrap up though. I want to sort of smash some of these concepts together. And there's a set of use cases which we're seeing evolve really over the last probably 2 or 3 years around not just single tenant, single system identity sort of platforms, but this whole concept of B2B to something type, where you have a sort of an introducing a set of more, I guess there's delegation in there as well. There's on behalf of, there's multi-tenant and invitational sort of things there. So I guess on one hand, we've still got to deal with data sovereignty. We've got things like standards or the lack of, or maybe too many standards to deal with. We've got all of these different identity types. But I think the sort of B2B ecosystem as B2C, I guess, has matured, has suddenly become a really complex and real problem, which isn't really just for one or two organizations. It's really now becoming quite a repeatable set of use cases. And I guess it seems like a perfect storm of complexity to me. There's a lot of complex use cases, a lot of data management, a lot of identity management, a lot of complex lifecycle stuff going on. And that to me just seems like a really good sort of final point we could make around a sort of an exemplar set of use cases as to why you need to start thinking about having a production grade platform to sort of deal with some of these things. Is that a fair use case to pick on, do you think?
Yeah, agree. And I think it's becoming, honestly, B2B I want to say was kind of almost an afterthought-ish type of thing for a while for a lot of organizations. I mean, heck, there's websites out there that point out organizations that don't support SSO and don't do these things and stuff like that from their app perspective, kind of like picking on it because it was such an afterthought, right? Like, hey, look, we got this great consumer grade experience that we put a lot of time into as an organization. It's a delightful experience. It works really well. But then an organization comes along and says, hey, that's really cool, but I want to actually control all that. And that's kind of where we've seen the B2B shift even more. I think this is really security driven, in my opinion, a lot of times, just due to data breaches, due to things along those lines that have happened over the years, is that a lot of organizations, not on the app making side, but on the access side, who want to get, access to these tools, have looked at it and go, you know what? I would much rather have the control of these identities in my hands, be able to provision, deprovision, grant access, grant, whatever, then give that to the organization of this app that is going to have to manage it on that side. And I think there's been a real push for that. Some of it's also buried in data sovereignty, right? And coming on that side, I need to control the actual identity data at the end of the day because of my requirements to the countryman. Some of it comes from types of users, right? I mean, we've talked about agentic and and different types of identity types there, but there's also things like partners, right? Like third-party contractors, things along those lines that a lot of organizations have to manage and think about too. And so I think that's become, as we've seen more of these different identity types, we've seen this data sovereignty stuff. I think B2B's had more of a challenge to deliver a great experience, right, around that. On just what does that mean from, how does it look? How do people handle that? How do they authenticate? The easy answer is, you slap SAML or OAuth on top of it and great, you're off to the races, right? And look, don't get me wrong, that works in a lot of cases, but it's not necessarily like always a great experience. I can't tell you the amount of times I've gone to a site to log in and, something I use here or in previous lives, and it says, oh yeah, enter your email address to log in. Oh, you enter your email address. And then you get a screen and it's like, oh, not found. I mean, we use this app all the time. There's a little button down here that says maybe use SSO. Okay, I click the SSO button. It goes, oh, okay. Well, enter your domain or your company identifier. Okay, here's my domain. Oh, that wasn't right because we had an old domain 3 years ago when this was first set up. Like all that complication that's gone into these B2B systems because they've kind of been patched on. It's difficult, right? It makes the experience not that great. And I think what's happening is a lot of companies are looking at that and going like, there's no reason this needs to be this bad, right? It really should be easy. It's not hard. It's time consuming to get right from a spec or integration standpoint. But there's no excuse anymore for this not to have the same consumer grade experience as we do with all of our other apps for our business apps.